This is TWiT.
So, PwnToOwn Spring 2020.
Oh, I love this. I love this. It's hysterical.
Last Friday was the second and final day the second and final of 2 days of the 2020 Spring edition of HackerOne's always interesting PwnToOwn hacking contest. This year's winner is, perhaps unsurprisingly,
yes,
our listeners will know them well, Team Fluoroacetate, formed by the security pair Amat Kama and Richard Zhu. They won the contest after accumulating 9 points across the 2-day competition and extended their dominance by winning their 4th tournament in a row. There were, 6 contestants. They were at the top with 9. Then the next one was at 7, and then 4, 3, and 0. So a nice spread. And interestingly, I mean, I just have to wonder, these guys just seem to pull this stuff out of their hat. And it's like, okay.
Well, they save it all year. I mean, they're just, that's why it was a little concerning, because CanSec West in Vancouver, because of COVID, was called off. So I love how they did this. They had the hackers mail in their exploits.
Right. So, of course, since no one is currently meeting face-to-face,
right,
and since the PwnToOwn hacking contest has always been held during the CanSec West Cybersecurity Conference occurring in the spring in Vancouver, which, as you said, this year, this year's PwnToOwn is the first ever hacking contest hosted virtually. Although it sacrificed some of the in-person drama, the participants sent their exploits to the PwnToOwn organizers in advance. The organizers then ran the code during a live stream with all participants present. So, it
kept them kosher.
And it still preserved much of the breath holding, because it was like, okay, is this going to work?
Plus, I think that's a good. I mean, if your exploit can be automated that way, that's a big deal, right? You don't have to sit there and go, let me try this. Oh, no, that didn't work. Let me try this. If you can make a script and it works, more power to you.
Yep.
Right?
It doesn't require your last-minute sort of finessing to stroke the enter key just right in order to slip that bug through.
I think the scores were a little lower this time because of that, but to be honest, because I think there is a certain amount of that.
Yeah. Well, only one failed. So during the competition's 2-day schedule, 6 teams managed to hack apps and operating systems, including Windows, Mac, Ubuntu, Safari, Adobe Reader, and Oracle VirtualBox. Yeah. All the bugs, as always, exploited during the contest were immediately reported to their respective companies. So what happened? The first exploit of the first day was attempted by the Georgia Tech Systems Software and Security Lab team, who targeted Apple Safari. And get this, Leo, with a Mac OS kernel escalation of privilege, so a browser-based kernel escalation attack. Yikes. But the exploit succeeded when the Georgia Tech team used a 6-bug exploit chain.
Wow.
Which just makes me shake my head. I just think, oh my God, chaining together a series of 6 small flaws in order to amplify the effect of each and get yourself in. They managed to pop up the calculator app on Mac OS and escalate its access rights to root. So that demonstrates they could run anything that they wanted to, feed it commands to do things behind your back with full root access. And they earned a well-deserved $70,000 US and 7 Master of Pwn points for that. The second exploit attempt was launched by Fluorescence, which is just Richard Zhu by himself.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So he works both as a team and by himself.
Right.
He did pretty well just by himself.
Yes, he did. He targeted Microsoft Windows with a local privilege escalation and succeeded. He used a use after free vulnerability in the Windows API to escalate his local privilege And that is to say, as we know, as I was just saying, that local privilege escalation, the idea of not running as an admin being protection against some zero-day GDI flaw shouldn't give anyone any comfort, because local privilege escalations are all over the place. Yeah. Anyway, he found another one, earning himself $40,000 and 4 points toward Master of Pwn. The third exploit was brought by Manfred Paul of the Red Rocket CTF team, who targeted Ubuntu desktop with a local privilege escalation. How did he
get in? Because I want to know about that one.
And it, too, was successful. Yeah. He's a newcomer to PwnToOwn who used an improper input validation bug. So there, again, a bit of an interpreter.
Sanitize your inputs, folks.
If you're looking at input, you have to be very careful at your code what looks at input, because it's possible for the input itself to attack you, which you're trying to prevent from a sanitation standpoint. And there was a problem. He was able to escalate privileges and earn $30,000 and 3 Master of Pwn points. And in all of these cases, we're not getting full detail yet.
Yeah, because I'd like to know what app it was, or what was it that let him do that.
Well, we've got to give the companies behind these things time to go, ooh, crap, and then push out a fix before it becomes more widely known.
Is it a widespread kernel flaw or something unique that Ubuntu was doing, or what?
Yeah, and we're just happy these guys are wearing white hats.
Well, that's one point to make, is that they have to turn these exploits over to the company afterwards.
Right. So. Yeah, well, this is a HackerOne run operation, so everything is about the good side, where Zerodium is the bad side of this whole deal. So for the fourth exploit, the fluoroacetate team was back, setting their sights on Microsoft Windows with a local privilege escalation. As I said, they're everywhere. They succeeded in leveraging a use after free bug in Windows.
You keep hearing that, don't you? Yep.
Yeah. Yep. To escalate themselves to full system privilege, and earned $40,000 and 4 more Master of Pwn points. The second day began when Star Labs targeted Oracle's VirtualBox for the first exploit in the virtualization category, and it succeeded. The researcher used an out-of-bands read bug for an information leak and an uninitialized variable for code execution on the VirtualBox hypervisor.
Wow, that's a little more sophisticated.
That is a VM escape. Yeah. You don't want code running on the hypervisor. He did it, and he took home $40,000 for his effort and got 4 Master of Pwn points. The fluoroacetate team came back one final time for the 6th exploit of the competition, targeting Adobe Reader with a Windows.
You shouldn't get any points for that.
Yeah,
that should be just.
Exactly
I know. Okay.
Reader, oh come on, really? Except it turns out it was a complex combination of Reader and obtaining a local privilege escalation. They employed a pair of 2 use after free bugs, one in Acrobat and one in the Windows kernel, in order to hike their privileges and to gain complete control over the system. That one got them 50,000 points, $50,000 and 5 points towards the Master of Pwn. Only one exploit failed during the competition, which was the 7th and final one. It was made by the Synactive team. They targeted VMware Workstation, obviously also in the virtualization category. But as I noted, the attempt failed when they were unable to get their exploit to function in the allotted time. So overall, despite doing this virtually, we were still able to have an interesting and worthwhile and hopefully motivational PwnToOwn meeting. These guys are taking home some serious bread, and it's definitely worth.
I think they should stream this like esports. I mean, seriously,
it would be really.
This is cool. Yeah.